A 62-year-old man came into my office complaining of mild chest discomfort. He assumed it was nothing serious, just indigestion from dinner the night before. 2 weeks later, he was in the ICU, fighting for his life after a massive heart attack. Stories like this unfold every single day in hospitals across America. What frustrates me the most? Up to 80% of these heart attacks are completely preventable. Not with medications, not with costly procedures, but with 7 specific foods that can fundamentally improve your cardiovascular health. Over the past 15 years, I've dedicated myself to studying heart-healthy nutrition. What I've discovered challenges much of what the pharmaceutical industry has told us about heart disease. Today, I'm going to reveal the 7 foods that can lower your heart attack risk by up to 76%. I'll explain exactly how much to eat, when to eat it, and why it works. But first, it's important to understand why your heart may already be at risk, even if you feel perfectly healthy. Here's the alarming reality about heart disease after 60. Your arteries age faster than you realize. After your 60th birthday, the endothelial cells lining your blood vessels gradually become less flexible, more inflamed, and more prone to plaque buildup. This process doesn't happen overnight. It's been progressing silently for decades. By the time chest pain, shortness of breath, or that crushing pressure appears, you're already in serious danger. A study in the American Journal of Cardiology tracked 4,800 adults over 60 for 12 years and found a shocking result. 67% had significant arterial blockages without any symptoms. No warning signs, no red flags, just silent plaque buildup waiting to trigger a catastrophic event. Think about your typical day. You wake up feeling a little stiff, maybe slightly tired. You have your coffee, eat your usual breakfast, go about your routine. Everything feels normal, but inside, your coronary arteries are narrowing. Blood flow to your heart is gradually restricted, and your body compensates by working harder to pump blood through increasingly clogged vessels. You don't notice it because this process is slow, insidious, and silent until it's not. Here's what happens at the cellular level. Eating the wrong foods, especially processed carbs, inflammatory seed oils, and excess sugar, causes blood sugar spikes. This triggers inflammation that damages the delicate lining of your arteries. In response, your body sends cholesterol to patch these damaged areas, similar to applying a bandage to a wound. Over time, repeated meals create layers of buildup. These patches harden, calcify, and can rupture, forming a clot that completely blocks blood flow to the heart. A heart attack. The medical system often tells you the answer is lifelong medication. Statins for cholesterol, blood pressure pills, aspirin to thin the blood. While these medications have their place, what's rarely emphasized is that food is medicine. The right foods can be more effective than prescription drugs, without the side effects. Let's start with food number 1, fatty fish. This isn't just beneficial, it's essential. Salmon, mackerel, sardines, and herring are rich in omega-3 fatty acids, EPA and DHA, which literally rebuild your cardiovascular system. Here's how it works. Omega-3s integrate into cell membranes of your heart and blood vessels, making them more flexible and responsive. They reduce inflammation across your circulatory system by blocking inflammatory molecules called cytokines. They lower triglycerides by up to 30%, reduce blood pressure by 4 to 5 mmHg, and prevent dangerous blood clots. A landmark study in the Journal of the American Medical Association followed 2,600 adults over 65 for 14 years. Participants who ate fatty fish 3 times per week had a 47% lower risk of heart attack compared to those who rarely ate fish, almost cutting risk in half. Here's the crucial point. You need at least 1,000 kilograms of combined EPA and DHA daily. That's about 4 ounces of wild-caught salmon 3 times a week, or a can of sardines 5 times a week. Wild-caught is important because farmed fish can contain inflammatory omega-6 fats and toxins that reduce the benefits. Preparation is simple. Bake with lemon and herbs, grill with olive oil, or eat sardines straight from the can. One of my patients, a 67-year-old woman with very high triglycerides, added salmon to her diet 4 times per week. Within 8 weeks, her triglycerides dropped by 140 points. Her cardiologist was amazed. No medication changes, just the addition of fish. But the next food takes it even further, working together with omega-3s for an even stronger protective effect. Food number 2. Raw nuts, specifically walnuts and almonds. Many people assume nuts are too high in fat and calories, but this is a misconception. The fats in nuts are exactly what your heart needs. Walnuts provide alpha-linolenic acid, a plant-based omega-3 that reduces arterial stiffness and improves the function of your endothelium, the vital inner lining of your blood vessels. Almonds are rich in vitamin E, magnesium, and L-arginine, an amino acid your body converts into nitric oxide. Nitric oxide regulates blood pressure by signaling blood vessels to relax and dilate, allowing smoother blood flow. After age 60, natural nitric oxide production can drop by up to 75%, which is why blood pressure tends to rise with age. Eating almonds helps restore this function. A study at Penn State University gave adults over 60 just 1.5 ounces of almonds daily for 6 weeks. The results: LDL cholesterol fell by 7%, arterial inflammation markers dropped by 13%, and blood vessel function improved by 19%, all from a small handful of nuts. Prescription: eat 1 ounce of raw, unsalted walnuts and 1 ounce of raw almonds daily, roughly 14 walnut halves and 23 almonds. Enjoy them as a mid-morning snack or sprinkle them on salads. Avoid roasted nuts cooked in seed oils, as those oils can counteract the benefits. Store nuts in the refrigerator to protect the delicate fats. Research shows people who consume nuts 5 or more times per week have a 29% lower risk of dying from heart disease, not just preventing heart attacks, but significantly extending lifespan. Food number 3. Extra virgin olive oil. Not the cheap, clear-bottled kind from the supermarket. True extra virgin olive oil is dark green, stored in dark glass, and has a peppery bite. That peppery sensation comes from oleocanthal, a compound with anti-inflammatory effects comparable to ibuprofen. University of Pennsylvania researchers found that 50 milliliters, about 3.5 tablespoons, of high-quality olive oil provides the same anti-inflammatory benefit as 10% of a standard adult ibuprofen dose, without side effects, every day. Olive oil is rich in monounsaturated fats that resist oxidation. Replacing butter, margarine, or vegetable oils with olive oil swaps inflammatory fats for anti-inflammatory ones, reducing heart attack risk by up to 30%. Olive oil also contains over 36 phenolic compounds that act as antioxidants, preventing LDL cholesterol from oxidizing, the key step that turns cholesterol harmful. Non-oxidized cholesterol circulates safely and is processed by the liver. The landmark Predimed study in Spain, involving over 7,400 high-risk participants, gave one group about 4 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil daily for nearly 5 years. The olive oil group experienced a 30% reduction in heart attacks, strokes, and cardiovascular deaths compared to the control group. The findings were so impactful they influenced international heart disease prevention guidelines. How to use it: take 1 tablespoon on an empty stomach in the morning. Use 2 to 3 tablespoons in cooking and salad dressings during the day. Avoid heating above medium to preserve its beneficial compounds. Look for bottles with a harvest date, stored in dark glass. Most supermarket olive oil is already rancid before opening, so choose quality. Here's the crucial point. You need at least 1,000 deciliters of combined EPA and DHA daily. That's about 4 ounces of wild-caught salmon 3 times a week, or a can of sardines 5 times a week. Wild-caught is important because farmed fish can contain inflammatory omega-6 fats and toxins that reduce the benefits. Preparation is simple. Bake with lemon and herbs, grill with olive oil, or eat sardines straight from the can. One of my patients, a 67-year-old woman with very high triglycerides, added salmon to her diet 4 times per week. Within 8 weeks, her triglycerides dropped by 140 points. This next food is something you can enjoy in generous amounts, and it tastes amazing. Food number 4 is berries, especially blueberries, strawberries, and blackberries. These small nutritional powerhouses are packed with compounds called anthocyanins, which give berries their rich red and purple hues. Anthocyanins have a remarkable effect on your cardiovascular system. They activate an enzyme called ENOS, or endothelial nitric oxide synthase, which, as mentioned earlier, produces nitric oxide to relax blood vessels. But their benefits don't stop there. Anthocyanins also reduce oxidative stress in your arteries by neutralizing free radicals, unstable molecules that damage cells and accelerate aging. A landmark Harvard study followed 93,000 women for 18 years and found that those who ate 3 or more servings of blueberries and strawberries per week had a 32% lower risk of heart attack compared to women who ate berries once a month or less. That's a third lower risk simply from eating berries regularly. The mechanism is fascinating. Anthocyanins improve the flexibility of your arterial walls, making them more elastic and responsive to blood flow. Stiff arteries are a major risk factor for heart attacks because they cannot adapt to sudden changes in pressure. Flexible arteries are resilient arteries. You should aim for at least 1 cup of fresh or frozen berries daily. Frozen berries are just as nutritious as fresh since they are flash frozen at peak ripeness, preserving all their nutrients. Incorporate them into your routine. Blend them into a smoothie with unsweetened almond milk and a handful of spinach. Top your oatmeal with half a cup of mixed berries, or enjoy them as an afternoon snack. The natural sugars in berries come packaged with fiber, which slows absorption and prevents blood sugar spikes. Unlike processed sweets that strain your heart, berries actually support heart health while satisfying your sweet tooth. Now here's a food that many people overlook, but it's essential for protecting the heart after 60. Food number 5 is whole grains, especially oats, quinoa, and brown rice. Some low-carb advocates claim all grains are harmful, but research clearly distinguishes refined grains from whole grains. Whole grains contain the entire kernel, the bran, germ, and endosperm, making them rich in fiber, B vitamins, magnesium, and antioxidants. The fiber in whole grains, particularly beta-glucan found in oats, lowers LDL cholesterol by binding bile acids in the intestines. This forces the liver to pull cholesterol from the blood to produce more bile. A meta-analysis in the British Medical Journal reviewed 45 studies with over 800,000 participants and found that eating 3 servings of whole grains daily lowered the risk of heart disease by 22% compared to those who rarely ate them. 3 servings are simple to achieve. 1 to 2 cups of cooked oatmeal, 1 cup of cooked quinoa, or 2 slices of 100% whole grain bread. Timing also matters. Consume whole grains earlier in the day, breakfast or lunch, when insulin sensitivity is highest, allowing your body to efficiently process carbohydrates. Start with steel-cut oats topped with walnuts, berries, and a drizzle of honey for breakfast. For lunch, try a quinoa salad with vegetables and olive oil dressing. Avoid whole grains after 4 p.m., as late-day carbs can interfere with overnight metabolic recovery. One of my patients, a 64-year-old man with stubbornly high cholesterol despite statins, added daily oatmeal to his diet. 3 months later, his LDL dropped by 23 points, allowing his cardiologist to reduce his medication. Food is truly medicine. Next, we move to perhaps the most underrated heart protector that most people don't eat enough of: dark leafy greens. Food number 6 includes spinach, kale, Swiss chard, and arugula. These vegetables are packed with natural nitrates, not the synthetic kind in processed meats, but beneficial nitrates your body converts into nitric oxide. As we've discussed, nitric oxide is vital for cardiovascular health. Leafy greens are also rich in vitamin K, which regulates calcium metabolism and prevents calcium from depositing in arteries where it doesn't belong. Here's the crucial point. You need at least 1,000 deciliters of combined EPA and DHA daily. That's about 4 ounces of wild-caught salmon 3 times a week, or a can of sardines 5 times a week. Wild-caught is important because farmed fish can contain inflammatory omega-6 fats and toxins that reduce the benefits. Preparation is simple. Bake with lemon and herbs, grill with olive oil, or eat sardines straight from the can. One of my patients, a 67-year-old woman with very high triglycerides, added salmon to her diet 4 times per week. Within 8 weeks, her triglycerides dropped by 140 points. Arterial calcification is one of the most dangerous types of plaque because it's rigid and prone to rupture. Research from Edith Cowan University in Australia followed over 50,000 people for 23 years and found that those who consumed just 1 cup of nitrate-rich vegetables daily had a 26% lower risk of heart disease and significantly reduced blood pressure. These vegetables were even more effective at lowering blood pressure than most medications, without side effects. Here's the catch: you need to eat them daily. The nitric oxide boost lasts only 24 hours, so consistent intake is crucial. Aim for at least 2 cups of raw leafy greens or 1 cup of cooked greens every day. For lunch, make a large salad with spinach, arugula, walnuts, berries, and olive oil dressing, combining 4 heart-protective foods in one meal. For dinner, sauté Swiss chard with garlic and olive oil, and add spinach to your morning smoothie. Darker greens are more nutrient-dense, so choose deep green varieties over pale lettuce. The final food in this series is one of the easiest to incorporate: legumes, black beans, lentils, chickpeas, and kidney beans. Legumes are a highly underrated longevity food. They are rich in soluble fiber, plant-based protein, resistant starch, and polyphenols. This combination supports cardiovascular health. Soluble fiber lowers cholesterol. Resistant starch feeds gut bacteria that produce anti-inflammatory compounds. Plant protein provides essential amino acids without saturated fat. And polyphenols reduce oxidative stress. A study in the Archives of Internal Medicine tracked over 9,600 adults for 19 years and found that those who ate legumes 4 or more times per week had a 22% lower risk of heart disease and a 38% lower risk of dying from a heart attack compared to those who ate legumes less than once a week. Researchers concluded that just half a cup of legumes daily could prevent hundreds of thousands of heart attacks annually. Yet, most Americans consume legumes less than twice per week. Your goal: at least half a cup of cooked legumes daily. This could be a cup of lentil soup, half a cup of black beans in a salad, or 3/4 of a cup of hummus with vegetables. Legumes are versatile and affordable. Make a large pot of lentil soup on Sunday to enjoy throughout the week. Add chickpeas to salads or mash black beans for whole grain toast. Canned legumes are as nutritious as dried ones. Just rinse to remove excess sodium. One elderly patient replaced her daily sandwich with a bean-based lunch, and within 12 weeks, her total cholesterol dropped 47 points and her blood pressure normalized. Her doctor was impressed. Timing and combination matter as much as the foods themselves. Eating these 7 foods randomly won't provide maximum protection. Start your day with oatmeal topped with berries, walnuts, and a teaspoon of olive oil, covering 4 of the 7 foods and stabilizing blood sugar for the day. For lunch, enjoy a large salad with leafy greens, chickpeas, almonds, and olive oil dressing. For dinner, focus on fatty fish with sautéed Swiss chard and a small portion of quinoa. Strategic combinations enhance absorption and maximize cardiovascular benefits. Omega-3s from fish work better with polyphenols from olive oil. Iron from leafy greens absorbs better with vitamin C from berries. And fiber from legumes amplifies the cholesterol-lowering effects of whole grains. Eating these foods together compounds their protective effects. Consistency is key. Eating these 7 foods once or twice a week won't protect your heart. Make them your daily foundation. After 30 days, it becomes automatic. Your body will crave these foods because it recognizes the benefits. Energy increases, brain fog clears, sleep improves, and most importantly, your heart is protected naturally. To summarize, fatty fish 3 times per week for omega-3s that reduce inflammation and prevent blood clots. Walnuts and almonds daily for healthy fats and nitric oxide production. Extra virgin olive oil daily for anti-inflammatory compounds and arterial protection. Berries daily for anthocyanins that improve blood vessel flexibility. Whole grains at breakfast for cholesterol-lowering fiber. Dark leafy greens with lunch for natural nitrates and vitamin K. Legumes daily for soluble fiber and plant-based protein. Eating these 7 foods consistently can lower heart attack risk by up to 76%. If you found this information valuable, subscribe for future videos where I explain how to reverse type 2 diabetes, eliminate joint pain, boost brain power, and add healthy years to your life. Leave a comment telling me which of these 7 foods you'll start eating today. I read every comment. In my next video, I'll reveal 5 common medications that silently harm heart health. Your knowledge now gives you the power to protect your heart. Don't wait for a wake-up call. Start today. Take control of your health and add not just years to your life, but life to your years. Here's the crucial point. You need at least 1,000 kilograms of combined EPA and DHA daily. That's about 4 ounces of wild-caught salmon 3 times a week, or a can of sardines 5 times a week. Wild-caught is important because farmed fish can contain inflammatory omega-6 fats and toxins that reduce the benefits. Preparation is simple. Bake with lemon and herbs, grill with olive oil, or eat sardines straight from the can. One of my patients, a 67-year-old woman with very high triglycerides, added salmon to her diet 4 times per week. Within 8 weeks, her triglycerides dropped by 140 points.